I am so honored and humbled by Candace and Nisha. I don't know where that had a vision. She just dropped away from. Please come this way, please. I do not make light of anointing. I have no status of anointing, but when people get a vision and they do it unselfishly and they do it without anyone saying that they are appointed to it, then you know there's something more than two people jumping up and saying, I'm going to have a party. I am so grateful for all of you that have gathered, and we take no offense when someone said, if you're standing in front of a black woman, please step away or sit down. It is our embrace of all of you who are part of the beloved community that you know that we will never leave you out of the circle of empowerment. So I've come this morning with a more sacred tone, with teary eyes, and a shout out to sisters who've gone home. For that is what your legacy is, and that is what your journey is. You now see me standing with 3 generations. My daughter said if I look toward Ellison, my little queen, she'll start running because she's, as they say, hadn't gotten that public speaking yet. But you see she's got her braids. She's getting ready. Erica is her mama, and I am her BB. I am BB because I love the other terminology, but I'm too young to be called that. Sacred ground. I wanted to come this morning for reasons of honoring these 2 beautiful women. I wanted them to have the queenly crown that can only be seen through the eyes of black women. There's no physical touching that you can touch. You can see the braids, I can touch those. But there is no physical sense of a crown that many of us in this secular world understand. But if each of you would look to a crown on your own head. For my sisters, we are in a revolution. This is a revolution. This is the time, and it is now. And you are the time, and it is now. We cannot wait. Dr. King said in 1957, those words are as potent and prominent today as they are or were in 1957. This is the 50th year commemoration of his death, but it is also a signal to the sister who stood alongside of him, Coretta Scott King, that when he died, Coretta Scott King took to the streets of Memphis, Tennessee, and led 50,000 people to stand against the devastation of sanitation workers and allowed them to be dignified. It was, I am a man, but the story was, I am a woman. See, you don't know the history of those of you who now sit before me and walking alongside, and the reason that these women started this movement, they could not help themselves. And you all need to be in a position to say, I can't help myself. I can't help myself by saying to the sisters Wanda and Rhonda and the women on the Houston School Board, and you cannot stop yourself, help yourself, and tell them those schools will not close because black women are on the scene. They're not going to close. You can't help yourself. You cannot help yourself. You must be able to be in rooms where there is no one but you. As I said, the beloved community takes in all women. But this is a time now that you have now catapulted yourself into the national annals of a new history in the 21st century. Make it very clear that Doug Jones would not be in the United States Senate had it not been for the Alabama sisters. There will be no one that will win a primary had it not been, or will it not been, for those sisters that are scattered throughout this community in this state. But there is a cancer that we have to cure in our multiple sisters. The cancers of single parents. The tragedy of the mother with the 3 children on my block in Scott Street, one laying in a hospital. I make no light of the situation. Somebody didn't get to that sister. Somebody who's here who would know how to mother and to embrace that sister did not get to her. That's what the black woman movement has to be. This is sacred ground. See, you got to renew your strength. You got to take wings like eagles, and you cannot be weary. This is sacred ground. You got to understand that through God, all things are possible. Whatever your God is, whatever your faith is. And we can never leave a sister along the highway of devastation. You must know that there's an area in my district that is so impoverished that I'm going to be talking to them, and we're going to have a Black Woman Day there. I won't call the name. But they are so impoverished that the teachers are giving the children baths when they come to school. They are cleaning them. They are feeding them when they come to school. They go out and look for mom who may be on a street corner. This is our time. And to the ancestors like Maya Angelou, who knows about the phenomenal woman, but she also knows that if somebody shows you who they are, then that is who they are. We must leave those along the highway. We cannot address them. We cannot address them. We cannot address those folk. It is not denying. It is not. See how sisters help? It is not denying their humanity, but we can't let them pull us down. Sacred ground. Maya Angelou also said, as she has challenged us, how beautiful we are. No matter who we are beautiful. Chocolate colors in so many ways. Ice cream like vanilla, any color we are. There is beauty in our step, in our look, in our hip. And so you must, if you look regal and tall and dark like Barbara Jordan, who was a replica of the woman in the room, that the man at the front of the room, who happened to be of another complete race, this suffragette, this abolitionist, this freed slave who stood in the back of the room and maybe might have looked manly. She said, yes, sir, you want to speak? And she said, ain't I a woman? Ain't I a woman? I've borne 13 children and seen almost all sold into slavery, but ain't I a woman? I've got the strength and the guts to be an abolitionist to end slavery, and I'm standing alongside of Susan B. Anthony because I'm an abolitionist and a suffragette. I believe in the power of women. Sojourner Truth. And I was compelled as a young member of the United States Congress to understand and respect the elder of C. Dolores Tucker, who took me under her wings. And C. Dolores walked into my office and said, you have to honor Sojourner Truth. And we worked and we were rebuffed and we worked and we were rebuffed. And I want to tell you, that you want to know why I stand by women. Hillary joined me when she was a senator. We introduced the legislation, and Sojourner Truth is the first African-American statute of a woman in the United States Congress right now. Ain't I a woman? You can't let obstacles overcome you. Barbara Jordan, regal and dark, not expected out of Fifth Ward to go to the heights of the world watching her say, we the people. Recognizing as she went to the Boston College of Law that her roots in Fifth Ward was going to carry her somewhere. Coretta Scott, Sojourner Truth, Barbara Jordan, Maya Angelou, but each and every one, Candace, Nisha, all these candidates that are running, we don't know their fate, but God help them, they took the courage. Unnamed sisters right now, making sure that the 4 or 5 children that she has is under her wings. But we cannot forget those who have lost their way. So let me share with you some things I need you to do. I need to save the schools task force. However you can do it. Every meeting you show up, everything they need you to do, you show up. I'm already one of one. The governor, the TA administrator, the president if I have to. We will not close Houston School, but we will lift them up. 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 Y'all look like you're not alive. The same schools that you went to. The same schools that you went to. Barbara Jordan Elementary Schools went to the schools in Fifth Ward, Texas. The same schools. Thank you, my sisters. You got your task force right now. Then I want you to show this woman, young girl here. She is 16 years old. 16 years old, and she is dead. She is a victim of human trafficking. That is your Congresswoman's challenge in the United States Congress, along with criminal justice reform and getting these women who are incarcerated because they were with a man and they had drugs and they're in there for 25 years. But this little baby died because she was on a space called Black Page, and they put her on there as a prostitute and she was killed. Human trafficking is excoriating disease. $99 billion. The largest number of calls to the human trafficking hotline are from Houston, Texas. I tell you, sacred ground, you must take someone and save their lives. And so I want you to say that we are in a revolution. Touch somebody's hand right now. We're in a revolution. The revolution is for good. The revolution is to reframe my thinking of who I am. The revolution is that if I'm on a bus and there's a black woman there who looks like if I say something good to her, then that woman can touch a Hispanic woman, an Anglo woman, an Asian woman, and we can come together with the leadership of the women who came born out of the bottom of a belly of a slave boat, came here from African kings and queens, born children, had them snatched away from them, didn't know their name, but kept on keeping on. You don't know your history. And to my millennium sisters, it is only through knowing your elders, giving pause for respect, trying to hear them, that you can then be heard. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you, as God says. But I want you to understand that it is important, if I may use the term in the biblical, to touch the hem of the garment. You may not understand what we are saying, but get close to us. We will give it to you, and we will push you going forward faster than we have ever been able to go. Sacred ground. And so I understand that the 4.5 hours that the men get to do, I'm not going to be able to do today. I've been in speeches where they have been speaking for a mighty long while. But I do want to have a sense of connection. Human trafficking, saving our schools, not having a mother be somewhere on Scott and 3 children are shot, one now in critical condition. Or the mothers that bend over bodies of gun violence victims every week. Funerals are going on today as we speak. Yesterday I stood with people at Shadydale Elementary School, and Lieutenant Johnson, a woman police officer, was there. Her husband was gunned down as a police officer some years ago, and the pain is still there. We need to heal the land, and the healers are the mothers, sisters, aunts, nieces, cousins that are here in this space, or just you. And if you are just you, then I am going to charge you today in the name of Nisha and Candace and this movement that it is not extinguished, but it is on fire. Barack told us, I'm fired up and ready to go. And just because he and Michelle have stepped off the pedestal of power that we were so eager to be able to touch and embrace, that was our brother, that was our sister, slapping five, slapping five, slapping five. We were slapping five, we were slapping five, we were slapping five. And then we just burned the heck out. Their legacy, we can't even repeat it, sister. How do you think their legacy will continue if you've got a chief commander in dismantling, and destruction in the White House? And you all don't speak up as the Affordable Care Act is being attacked, as his interests in the DACA children are being attacked, Voting Rights Act being attacked, and I don't get a wave of tweets from you, the revolutionaries, for good? Who is carrying on the revolution of Barack and Michelle? What is history all about? You're not in your churches standing up and saying, no, that's not old stuff to say, oh, remember Barack and Michelle? That's not old stuff. That's stuff to us. That's our stuff. You got millennials probably who need to know a little more stuff about Michelle and Barack. You got to tell it. So here we go. It's a revolution. Those of you who are sitting, let's stand up. We're in a revolution. I want you to hold hands. We're in a revolution. I want the 3rd Ward, 4th Ward, 5th Ward, 1st Ward, 2nd Ward, 3rd Ward to hear the voices of black women and those who will join it right now. We are in a revolution. We will come at evil with the vengeance of our ancestors, our sisters. Our fight will be for good. We will not be undermined or dismantled. Where we stand is sacred ground. And we will take whatever our faith is or whatever our values are with us in this fight. If we see a cancer that is destroying our community, we will be the doctors in charge of that evil and take it out. We will not dislike a sister. We may have our own personality. We will not dislike a sister. We may have our own personalities. But we will just try to get strength and just say, how are you, sister? Thank you, sister. May not be today, but we'll see each other tomorrow. It's all right to have one little upset, but we'll see you tomorrow. And if we can pledge to Candace and Nisha that we will stand with them, and when they send the whistle out, I need you for Save the Children, we will be there. When they send the word out, we'll be there. When I call you for human trafficking and I need a group of women in a room, you'll be there. When I call you to get rid of gun violence and touch some young woman so she's raising her children, or touch the middle school child that told me that he had to be right, I'm thinking, oh, good, you had to be right. Being right is packing. He had to be able to pack a gun to be able to be right. We don't want that, do we? Only you can heal the land. And with that healing, whatever our faith is, we'll never see an election that's not personal that we will ever let get by us. We'll be the 98% Alabama women. We need t-shirts, 98% Alabama women. And our vote will be cast for our children. And so let me finish by saying, Lord, lift me up. Lift them up where the eagles fly. Lord, lift them up where they belong. And let them see the mountaintop that Dr. King said the night before his death. It are words that are embedded in my soul, not the March on Washington. But I don't know whether he was foreseeing, and he gave us the value of this revolution today. For he said he had been to the mountaintop. He had seen that promised land, knew that we as a people He would not get there, but he knew that we as a people would get there someday. And so I cast upon you, my sisters, the revolution of victory and the revolution of overcoming all of the ills of this society and the revolution of your own status, that you will be lifted up, flying high like those pretty eagles. By the way, those eagles are those mothers who take care of those eaglets. And that's why I use that symbol. It is a symbol of this nation, but it's the woman eagle, the female eagle, that takes care of the generations, that makes sure that they are not extinct from all that is done. And you will take care of the generations. And in this revolution, we will never be stomped out. We will never be defeated. Black women will be exalted, and they will never be halted, and they will be the revolution of now and forever and forever. You are the revolution. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.